Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. So, today I think I'm going to talk about current events. Sometimes on Saturday mornings, I walk to the 7-Eleven and get a newspaper, but it is extremely cold and icy outside. So, I have to go down this secret passageway stairway that does not get shoveled or anything. And so it just seemed far too dangerous of a venture. So I thought I'll just talk from the heart about what we've all been seeing on the internet lately. And sometimes I make videos that are non-political. They're just, facts about the government. Sometimes I go into some commentary. This one will definitely be full of just my opinions, just like a discussion. And I think some of you probably know that you disagree with me. So just don't listen, just go and watch a different video because this is more just me blah, blah, blah about how I feel about stuff right now. So I thought I don't have a newspaper. So I thought maybe it would be nice to have a cute little puppy to help keep this calm. And I picked this up at Target. I know I shouldn't shop at Target. I happen to be there. I picked this up. And it's called Jasmine. How do you say that? Lang Lang. It's an oil diffuser with these reeds. If you've ever been to Hawaii, there's a very old hotel in Waikiki called the Royal Hawaiian. I think that's what it's called. And it has this wonderful scent. And I've kind of searched for it forever. Well, I smelled this and I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. That is it. So anyway, I bought this and I thought I'll have this here so I can smell that. And I'm not into perfumes generally, but this one says, I don't know, I'll have to look it up. It says infused with essential oils, formulated without parabens or phthalates, whatever. I want to know it's all essential. Is it fake scents? I don't know. Now I have to look it up. Anywho, it smells nice. And I have a latte. So, hopefully anybody who doesn't want to listen to me. And when I'm talking about current events, I'm talking about American politics. I'm talking about the Epstein files. So if that's going to upset you, for sure, just leave now. It should upset you. It upsets me. I'm going to rant. It's possible. Also, if you find my sort of nervous laughter upsetting when talking about things, you might want to leave because I do that. I don't know why. So, I don't even know where to begin. There's so many things right now going on. All right, well, I mentioned Epstein, so we could talk about that. So, while I was gone on vacation, there was a drop of, I think, 3.5 million documents, 2,000 videos, 180,000 images that were all from the Epstein Files Transparency Act. Now, to be clear, from what I understand, there's another 3 million documents that have not yet come out because the Department of Justice says those are being withheld for victim privacy or court orders. So I don't know. I don't know about that. But there are currently 3.5 million. A lot of it's awfully hard to figure out who's talking to who, because on top of redacting the victim names, they have redacted the names of a lot of the email senders and recipients. And it's hard to say why. I don't know. I don't know. But my overall take on this is just like, what the heck? What the heck? Like, what is it with becoming a billionaire or thereabouts, or just having that kind of power that makes you turn some kind of a sexual deviant and evil? I don't know. They just know they can get away with everything. And guess what? They do. And former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, he's been, in that Virginia Giuffre, is that how you say her name? My sister read her book, and she kind of told me about it. It's so disturbing. I may actually have to read that book. But, wow. But he definitely, was part of the problem. And, I mean, I shouldn't say definitely, because there have been this is all what's the word I'm looking for? Unverified, there's no proof of wrongdoing yet. But part of that's because no one's prosecuting anybody. So what are we just going to forever say, well, there's no proof of wrongdoing? How about we do something about that? How about that? And then I saw in comments, people say, well, the key word is he's ex-prince. Like, he's already had his princedom taken away. Like, who gives a crap? Like, what? That's not being prosecuted, sorry, either one. Ugh, it's disgusting. Oh my God. So Trump gets mentioned thousands of times, but Trump was never a person to use email. I think he has said himself he doesn't use email. I wonder why. And so there aren't any like direct emails from him that we know of. But like Bill Gates comes up again and again, Bill Clinton, Elon Musk started writing, and he was like, I'm interested in a wild party at the Epstein Island, whatever. And I felt like, and maybe I'm totally wrong about this, but that it was like Elon was like begging to go and nobody wanted him. They're kind of like, we're kind of busy this weekend. Like, gross. And then, of course, Woody Allen is all over the thing. But will anything happen? I don't know. They're trying to have the Clintons. What is it? They're testifying, and they want to do it behind closed doors. And Bill and Hillary Clinton are like, no, if we're going to do this, we want it in public. So you can't pick and choose what you share. And after they said that, and they're really pushing for that, which I think is correct. Like, if we're going to do it, let's do it. Let's do it in public where we can all hear what's going on. But now Trump said he's like sad. He's sad that his friend Bill and Hillary, who he respects a lot, she's very smart. What? Are going to have to go through this. And he wants to just, he says it's time to move on. So there's that. But like the amount of redacted names that are not victims' names, just like, what? And then there's a creepy email where somebody writes, your littlest was a little naughty. I'm like, ugh. But I think the really gross, disgusting part is that for years and years and years and years, hundreds of victims have spoken out. They've gone to FBI. They've gone to the police, and nothing's come of it because they're not powerful and rich. It's just terrible what we've done. Not we, but they. The rich and powerful. And now Maxwell, who's the only person who's been charged with anything, they've like upgraded her to her cushy cell and everything. I don't know. And then, one of my sons was like, it turns out like all that Pizzagate stuff they actually talked about. But what I heard about that is that kind of came into the emails after QAnon was talking about Pizzagate. It was sort of like tongue-in-cheek. Like they started saying, yeah, I want to order a pizza because of hearing about Pizzagate. So I'm not sure about that. I didn't really dive into it, but I'm not. And then also, for I don't know what reason, Jeffrey Epstein ordered tons of 23andMe kits. Like, what? And people are like, well, he was into like kind of eugenics kind of thing, like race stuff. But why would he care? That's weird. Unless there's like children. I don't know. I don't understand what the 23andMe kits are about. That's weird. But I also kind of feel like, and this is just me guessing, I don't know, but some of the stuff that was redacted, it's like, almost feels like it was redacted just to create conspiracies, to make the whole thing, like, it is bad enough if they had any underage girls or even women who were there against their will or were being pressured or blackmailed or whatever. Any of that is bad enough. That's plenty bad. But they're trying to like sort of, I feel like, throw in these things like there's some artwork that they redacted. Now, this one is all these little girls lined up and they redacted it. But then I saw a picture where it was like actually all the little girls are wearing clothes and it's from like Little Rascals or something. So they're like redacting that just to get people talking, like, or was that a different image? I don't know. But it doesn't seem like they were victims. So why is that? And then there's another one with like two chickens and something else. And I think that's another like artwork thing. And it's a grown man. But they're trying to get like the cannibalism talk going and stuff. And then like they show the hatch that goes into the ocean. And I think it's like some kind of thing for the water, like desalination, what do you call that, or something, from what I saw. But stuff like that breeds all kinds of, even on top of like, we don't have to have cannibalism, and we don't have to it's bad enough with just what the girls have said happened to them, being raped multiple times a day and being held against their will. That's bad enough. That is bad enough. I don't need the other stuff. But I don't know. I mean, who knows what'll come out. It's just so... There's like people from... A professor from Harvard who seems to have something... The guy who directed the Millennium or may have had something. It's like all these people could have been... Oh, Steve Bannon's all over this crap. And Steve Bannon was like best friends with Trump. I don't know. It's wild. In a bad way. Really disturbing, and I just don't know if anything will happen, and it's so frustrating. And I don't know what we can do about that other than not let it die. I don't know. So that's one thing. Now, when I left last, the Greenland thing was going on where Trump was like, I'm gonna go into Greenland. But it seems like European leaders and the leaders of Greenland pushed back hard enough on that he's kind of quieted down on that. So it does show that if people stand up to him enough, it can control situations a little bit. So now I think he's being more diplomatic about that. Now, just the other day, he made a comment. He did an interview with, I think it's CBS News, and it's already out, but they're going to air it like before the Super Bowl. I mean, before the Green Day show and all that, so it'll be pretty early, I think. But I don't know if they'll edit it or not, but I've seen a bunch of clips. And President Trump, is suggesting that Republicans should take over the voting in certain states ahead of the 2026 midterm. Now, if you know your Constitution, you know that's actually against the law. That election power is state responsibilities. But that doesn't mean he couldn't send in National Guard or whatever to grab the voting machines after an election and claim interference of some sort. He's definitely starting to push the foreign interference. You know, just creating distrust in voting systems has always been a major part of the operation. But then they've also been, Steve Bannon said ICE needs to be at every poll place or something like that. And that's just a tactic to, you know, cause fear and for voting. And I know some people would say, why would you be fearful if you're not an illegal? Okay, well, because ICE has been targeting people who are not illegal but don't necessarily look American or speak English or have accents. So come on, don't act naive. So anyway, that's just sort of intimidation stuff. That could be a real problem. I mean, the FBI went into Fulton County, Georgia, and was grabbing everything they could about the 2020 election. Now, this has been looked at and looked at and looked at. I don't know if you guys remember when that all happened. The Republican who was in charge there was getting death threats. I mean, it was actually crazy. But now I think in that area, there are no, I don't know what you'd call it, old school Republicans. It's all Trump loyal Republicans who are there. I think in elected office, I believe. So, I mean, in the Fulton thing. Anyway, so they were taking all the files, but then for reasons unknown, Tulsi Gabbard was there just like, and she should not be there. Like, I don't know. I have no idea what that's about. I wouldn't try to guess. But yeah, I mean, I think what's going to have to happen is, okay, there are a few things that I think have to happen to protect election integrity before even just 2026, which is crazy. Midterm elections that usually nobody cares about. I think as a country, anyone who cares about election integrity has to point out that the states are in charge of federal election. And the governors of those states need to really scream at the top of their lungs that we will be protecting this, we will be making sure, you know, and you can't come in here and mess with the election. Like, there's a reason why each state, we have 50 states, because it's harder to control, to change election results when it's spread out amongst 50 states than if it's one federal. And it's in Also, the fact that he's saying Republicans, like, how do you not see that screwed up? How do you not see it? I don't understand. I don't understand. The other thing I think in my mind should happen is in some of these states where the Democrats have kind of given up on the smaller places because of a feeling that they've just turned red, that there's no chance. I think they need to start running for office. I think we need a lot more people running for office speaking sane, speaking sanity. And they might find out, even without tons of funds, just with social media and a voice of sanity, they might just win elections. And I know there's always a fear of spreading money too thin, but I would say even without that, with just social media, with just organizing of people, because with everything that's been going on with ICE and people being, in my view, literally murdered, I think it has turned a lot of independents, a lot of on the cusp Democrats who maybe haven't shown up, and actually a lot of Republicans who are gun owners or just kind of like, what? What is happening? Because I can't even go into it all because it's a lot, isn't it? But speaking of that, Trump, when I was on vacation, he was threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act. I don't know if he's still saying that or not, but and then in this interview that's going to air before the Super Bowl that I've seen clips of, he is talking about, he said, this is what he said. I have an exact quote for you. Ready? It's 2 people out of tens of thousands, and you get bad publicity. What? 2 people out of tens of thousands who were protesting, only 2 were killed, and you get bad publicity. And he's like, in fairness, they were no angels. Well, they are now. Like, this is so disturbing. And the messaging from like Vance and some of the, Republicans is that the undocumented people that have been removed were murderers. So you've saved more people than you've killed, by removing them. And that somehow these people kind of deserved it because they were protesting and getting in the way. Like, protesting is a right in this country. And I won't even go into it. Both of those unarmed people being shot. I won't even talk about it. Because I already have a little bit, but okay, I saw an article this morning, you guys. Hold on, I gotta take a sip of this. I should have put some bourbon in here. Okay. There was an article this morning about how the State Department is going to delete X, which is formerly known as Twitter post, from pre-Trump 2025. So that would include all of Obama's posts, because he kind of started that, all of Trump's first term posts, all of Biden's White House posts, and I say Biden's White House because Biden wasn't posting that. I don't think he knew what Twitter was. So they are going to archive it, they said, but you won't be able to see it. But if you want to see it, you can file for a Freedom of Information Act to see it. And this goes along with Trump administration removing like signs from national parks that mention slavery, signs from I think it was Smithsonian Museum that mentioned Trump's impeachment. Any websites that basically conflict with the president's views, including like environmental, health, data information, references to LGBTQ plus or women or people of color, whatever. And if you look at the website, thewhitehouse.com, the page that used to have COVID information now says lab leak, the true origins of COVID-19. And it's just like a conspiracy theory website. And there's also one that's January 6, 2021 attack on the U.S. Capitol. And it shows like a picture of Nancy Pelosi kind of looking evil. And it's all about like, it's just like revisionist history stuff. It's cuckoo banana times. So you can go look at that if you want. What do we do about all this? What do we do? As always, write your senators. Mine write back to me and tell me that I'm stupid, but you can try. Write to your governor. Write. But then more than anything, if you care and you can, run for office, man. Run for office wherever you are. Or just be a sane voice. You know what else? I don't know. Like, I was thinking, the more people who start posting, even online, just sort of sane things, just saying like, well, that one thing is kind of crazy. I think it will help other people have like a permission to talk about it. And I think that's part of why I wanted to make, this video is like, I just can't believe I'm 55 years old and I've never seen anything like what's going on right now. It's actually shocking. And I think there needs to be a real push towards decency and common sense. And a real push for people to actually show up to vote. Because with this election stuff they're talking about, you've got to make it, as they say, too big to rig. Too many people showing up. No matter what they do, they can't deny. These people in power, the amount of money flowing around. Oh my God, I didn't even talk about that. Some of the AI chips or AI, I don't even know. I'd have to, and the money that changes hands, the crypto that's changing hands, along with the Epstein stuff, all the secrets that are changing. It's like, wow. What else is going on? I mean, you do feel like the rich and powerful just control everything, and they do. Oh, let's talk about how these big businesses aren't paying any taxes. I just saw a thing, and I can't remember now. Was it Tesla? However you say that, had like billions of dollars in income. They're paying zero taxes. And they're not the only ones. I mean, a lot of these big companies. I was trying to look it up, but I couldn't figure it out, but it looks like General Electric and Google, and I don't know, there are a bunch of big companies. Amazon, they just don't pay any taxes. Oh my God. The amount of I can't. See, I'll get mad. I don't want to get mad. I gotta stay calm. But we just need the people to start saying, absolutely not. This is enough. Snuff, as my dad used to say. Snuff. We've had enough. I don't know which thing to be mad about first right I'm not even getting into international stuff because it's too much. And this is, have you seen the movie The Apprentice? And one of the things that, what was Trump's like mentor lawyer name? I forget. I can't remember his name, but he's in that movie. And he kept like telling him, you just have to put out so much at once. No, that's Steve Bannon who says that. But the Trump mentor guy said, you just keep saying it until it becomes truth. You tell a lie until it becomes truth. And between those two things, that's what's at this fake election stuff, this trying to make people think that doing stuff to little girls isn't enough and that we need to add on to it cannibalism or whatever. No, the little girl stuff's plenty. That's plenty. Or even young women who are of age but being held, sex trafficked. That's actually quite enough. If the other stuff happened, then deal with that too. But it's like trying to minimize the problems by making whatever. I don't know. What do I know? I don't know. And these people who were murdered, it's just gonna, no one will probably ever get charged. I'm so frustrated. There I go laughing, but I'm laughing out of frustration. My apologies. This whole like State Department deleting the post and them sort of doing this propaganda to rewrite everything. My son, Clark, some of you guys know Clark. He's been on a few times for football. He's reading the book 1984 by George Orwell right now. And he's like, Mom, it's like, you got to go read that book. And I don't know that I ever did read it. But he said it's so, about right now. And it was written in 1912 or something. Did the puppy dog help? I don't think so. What else, you guys? What else am I missing? It's a wet dog. I bet he smells. I don't know. There's just too much. I can't even think. It was nice being on vacation because most days I didn't even pick up my phone. Oh, what a relief. So if you feel like it's all making you a little crazy, put your phone down. Don't look at it. Take a break. Let your brain have time to decompress from it all. I think somebody's snow blowing maybe outside. So. Oh, you know what else about the Epstein thing? Sorry. Is that Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, he says the review is complete. It's complete. Time to move on. What? Oh my gosh. I don't know why. If people aren't mad about that, the fact that no one is being charged, then I don't know what to say. That's messed up. I just think this kind of dog's cute. I'm sure they howl and stuff. I don't know how their eyes droop maybe too much. Look how cute he is though. Oh, you can't see, he's right there. Anyway. Alright guys, well. I know that wasn't like a relaxing video to talk about, but I also know sometimes you just want to talk about this stuff and try to make it make sense. I can't make it make sense. I don't know if I can. I guess the other thing we didn't talk about, I did a video a while back on the Venezuela, back when they were shooting the drug boats and the one sank and two people were on kind of hanging on and they went and shot them after the fact. And I did a video on that. Well, I kind of looked into it because while in the Caribbean, I saw multiple warships. A battleship, I want to say Winston Churchill, I think it was. And then some, I think that was maybe in St. Croix. And then we saw some in Puerto Rico. And so I looked it up, and they do still have a huge military presence with warships and troops and naval helicopters, nuclear submarines, destroyers. And just yesterday, on February 6th, there was another strike on a suspected drug boat. And some foreign countries and others have been discussing if they should be charged with international war crimes. But nothing's happened, and apparently that can take a long time. So that's sort of the update on that. So I don't know. Let's see, was there anything else we discussed that I need to update? I did the Greenland one. We did that. Venezuela. I don't think so. This is a pretty dog. Pretty. Look, this is like the dog on Frasier. Eddie. Was that his name? Pockets. I heard these dogs are really smart. Our neighbor had a dog like this that we loved so much, Rascal. His name was Rascal. He was a good dog. Anyway, all right, guys. Well, I don't know. I can't think anything else. All right, I will talk to you soon. Keep your head up. I was going to say something else positive, but I ran out of words. I don't know.